From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome in to a very special holiday episode of the show. I'm Lord Butler. He's Lord Bond.
Hey-o.
You can find us in the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. We don't got any beer today, but we got some eggnog.
We got some eggnog, and I failed on my quest to bring boiled custard, but we will do that after the new year comes.
But I think via technicality, eggnog then wins.
Eggnog wins the battle. Well, yeah, I never knew that it was a battle, so I was not aware.
I told my mom it was a battle, and that's why she made her recipe instead of just going and buying it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
it's very strong.
Yeah, very strong. I've got to drive out of here later. So
she calls it her 1 cup eggnog.
So I'm seeing this whole little barrel that we have here. Is this for me to take?
She said, if you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, it's liquid gold. So
okay.
But if you
like
it,
sell it on the. No, you're gonna go to the corner. You're gonna be a corner boy. I've been watching a lot of The Wire.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that about me, I'm a huge fan. I like it enough to definitely want to drink more than this little portion that I'm gonna have to. So. Maybe I'll try to sneak it into my folks' house and I'll put it in the fridge, hide it somewhere maybe. They're going to be like, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, eggnog's not the kind of thing you want to just hide like in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, I got an old boot that I keep it in and it's going to be perfect. Come summertime.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide it right outside in that boot. Yeah. Boom.
Everyone knows eggnog needs the ferment.
Chunky. And chunky is what I'm looking for. This is a little smooth for my taste.
But all right. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show. How are you this week, buddy?
Man, it's a week. Pushing through my short work week. But it is, it's been for the past couple of weeks. It's just been one of those weeks, man. Doing real good. I guess the highlight is the fact that the Bond Trophy may stay in the Bond household. Going to the championship again this year. So wish me luck or don't. I wouldn't wish you luck if it was you going in it. So, but won FanDuel this week. Not a heavy betting weekend for me. Yeah, I did a little bit, but
I knew right off the bat that. I thought I was going to have a good week on DFS. I saw you just jumped out to a lead.
Yeah, I had pretty much the best portion of like everybody's lineup. Yeah. Everybody had some good choices in there, but I had the best from each.
And I had a couple of injuries that kind of hurt me. But at the end of the day, I think I was plus $500 on the weekend. Hit a big parlay that helped. Hit a couple small ones. I had a couple last minute, the Saints game. The ESPN was misreported their number, so I thought I'd wanted another $200, $300 parlay.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara needed 58 rushing yards. They reported 61. Thought I hit all 5 legs. About 20 minutes later, they reported it as 54 yards.
That's a rough hit right there for sure. Yeah, I won FanDuel with my MVP Ryan Tannehill. I literally. Minutes before almost switched out of him to try to upgrade on the receiver. And boy, am I glad I didn't because he had himself
I went Lamar Jackson, and I don't know if he had more points or not than Tannehill, but at first...
No, Tannehill had 37. He had 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Lamar Jackson had 5 passing, so that's why I was like, I don't know how many points he got.
But the 2 rushing will get you every time for sure.
Yeah. But Lamar made up for it. I had him some parlays, or not. I had some props with him getting some rushing yards, and I had him getting a rushing touchdown in. So I think he won me like $40 somewhere.
Nice. Old Jalen Hurts had him a good weekend. Had him in the over on rushing as well. So definitely some little spots here and there, but was not heavy for me this weekend. Yeah. I didn't get too heavy into it.
Yeah. Quite. Do you think you're going to be betting on hockey this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bet on everything.
I think
Bobby.
I'm telling myself I'm not going to because hockey is so unpredictable, but I know, just like I was like,
puck line, baby. Puck line.
I don't watch basketball. I'm in a fantasy basketball and I literally I think I went with name value and I immediately bet on the Lakers game tonight.
Yeah. You're like, I just don't know. I'm going to keep it keep it legit. This is how every addict starts, Bobby. Is like they set rules for themselves and then they break the rules. And I will only bet on football.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, you were like, yeah, I'm not a big college football better. And the next weekend, you're hitting me up with what all you have on the and then you're like, look, I will, I'm not going to bet on hockey or basketball. And basketball's back and Bobby's in there. Okay, night one. You're not even pretending like you're not at this point, man. You're betting on the first night. Be honest with me, Bobby. Did you bet any basketball preseason?
No.
That's some degeneracy right there. You got to be a real degenerate to bet on preseason. So next season, obviously, we will be doing it. It just seemed
like I saw one for a preseason game. Will LeBron get more? It's a preseason game, man. How are you going to even assume that LeBron's going to be playing the whole game to get 30 points?
Yeah, I mean, it's the odds, right? You just got to play the odds.
And I think they were plus 100 odds. They're not even good odds.
I think I'm going to stick with probably, at least at first, to kind of get the feel for it, the puck line. How many goals are going to get scored? I think I'll try to mess around with that.
The problem is just as someone who actually does watch a lot of hockey, it's so unpredictable. Football, there's some predictability. We've been to games where it's like the two top scoring offenses sometimes, and you'll walk out of there a 1-0 game.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but Jets and the Bengals won this week.
Well, to be honest, though, I called the Bengals winning. I had 3 bets, and I had. In one of them, I even had Bengals money line.
Yeah,
and I think I won $4 because I just had Bengals money line because I knew going in. Steelers are a garbage team, and nobody believed me. But last night, everyone's like, "Oh, they are a garbage team."
It went from being the best loss the Titans had to being like, "Oh, you lost to the Steelers."
Yeah. So I mean, the Colts are now favored against the Steelers this week. So, which I mean,
Colts are a good football team.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
We should talk about this in the news, probably. Yeah, huh? Yeah. Let's just talk about it in the news.
So let's move on to some news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
People are probably checking their phones. Is this still a hockey podcast?
Yeah. Well, it's not hockey season yet, Greg.
We got about 3 weeks. But anyway, so the NHL has confirmed a 56-game season. Some teams will allow fans. Some teams may have to share arenas, depending on if, the Kings may not be able to play in the arena.
Now, at the same time, Bob.
Yeah,
they're gonna it's gonna be 4 teams on the ice at the.
Yeah,
that's gonna be hype. Yeah, that's gonna be hype.
I'm betting on those games.
Look, the goal line is 8.
Yeah,
but there's 4 teams out there. There's gonna be some messes.
Yeah. All right. So, what are your thoughts? You like the 56-game season setup?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting hockey, I guess, and hopefully this kind of is probably where it's going to kind of put us back on track to kind of get back to some normalcy.
Yeah, they said doing
sports.
this, they're playing at next season a regular schedule, October 3rd, hopeful start date. I like that. Now Nashville, obviously, whether or not the Preds will allow fans in is still up for debate. From the way I've seen Tennessee doing things, I believe they're going to let some fans in.
Yeah, Tennessee's been hit pretty hard, though.
Yeah.
I mean, with some new, guidance and such from the governor. And I mean, it's who knows, because we are at an alarming rate.
Well, the guidance was, hey, guys, maybe do something, but you don't have to. So that's the guidance we got. But the Panthers will be allowing fans in, and this could be the first year they said that the Panthers will lead the league in attendance.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see if they can still get people to come. And that's the biggest thing is we'll think, they're being really good down there in Sunshine, Florida. No, they're not. Nobody goes to Panthers games is the problem.
Yeah. And the Coyotes will be letting, they said it could be a race between the Coyotes and the Panthers who will lead the league in attendance.
Well, good luck to both of them.
Yeah. But anyway, so with all this confirmed, there are 10 teams well above the salary cap right now. And they need to get below that before January 13th, or this is not a soft cap. They won't be allowed to play if they don't get under. So there are some big things happening. But do you think that teams will wait till after Christmas and wait till Boxing Day to start making these trades?
I have no idea what, if they've already been working on them, if they've been, that'd be a nice nice little Christmas surprise, but hard to tell where GMs are at, where they, when they thought the start date was going to be, if they had other plans, if they've already been working on things. I would imagine some speedy decisions. I think we're going to have some big moves for sure.
And there will be no exhibition games. January 13th, it goes from no games to they're starting no preseason, no exhibition games, which kind of a bummer. If they were letting fans in, man, one of my favorite events is the doubleheader exhibition games.
I enjoy that. I enjoy that myself. But who knows if we would
even be allowed in.
Well, or even be allowed to adequately drink what is worth it. Yeah. If they're trying to, obviously limit us and be safe, that's fine and stuff. But then a doubleheader sucks.
Yeah. No, I would not be a goer.
Yeah. Then it's like, all right, you can get up 2 times and get beers. That's not even going to cover my nut, bro.
They are working on, I talked to one of the people, they are working on something where on your phone you can request a beer be brought to you.
That is not going to work out well for them. They're probably going to want to give us a better seat at the bar.
Yeah. Or they'll just end up saying, hey guys, we've given you your own guy just for you.
That would be high.
Because we'd become very good friends with him.
Oh, we would. This guy's getting Christmas gifts. This guy's getting Valentine's Day gift. This guy's getting a St. Patrick's Day, whatever. What does this guy like and what does he want? And be like, oh, you can't carry that gun in here, sir. No, this is for our boy Steve. They're like, Bobby and Brandon.
All right, so let's move on to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right. The Jets upset the Rams and possibly their chances at Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Adam Gase he's not joking around. When he gets fired, he definitely doesn't want somebody else to reap all the benefits of his terribleness. So we'll see. Do the Jags currently have the tiebreaker?
I believe, but I think someone was saying that they actually have I don't know who they're playing this coming up week, but someone said they actually have a pretty good chance at winning this week. Are we in week 15? Is that right?
I believe so.
I think we're going into 16.
Yeah, we are going into 16.
They play the Bears.
I don't know. That's not looking like with the way the Bears have been playing lately, that's not looking like a easy winnable game at this point.
But it's still 2020, which means the Jags could go out and just win that. And
the Jets are going to win out, bro. The Jets are like, hey, we know you're trying to give us a chance, Jaguars, but we don't want it. Okay, we do not want it. That's crazy. That's the NFL for you. You cannot. As far as betting and gambling goes, when you see a minus 1,000 or a minus 2,000 on it, you're stupid to put your your $200 up to win $20, if that.
Yeah, I saw somebody online. They took, and listen, it's Alabama. They were gonna beat Florida, and some other teams, but they were playing some cupcake team, and it was minus 25,000, and they ended up taking that. I'm like, why?
Money.
All it takes, and you had to have bet like $100 got you what, 50 cents?
Yeah, it'd probably be like closer to 10 cents.
Yeah, that's a because what if the unthinkable happens, and then you literally just piss that money away for nothing?
Right? Yeah, there's some happy guy that's sitting there with his 30 to 50 grand. Because he had the Jets and the Bengals in a parlay or something. Yeah. You think that would be crazy at the beginning of the week. Yeah. Let's put in the Jets and the Bengals. You're like, you're an idiot. And that guy wins it. It's silly the way that some people will. Obviously it's gambling, but if you want safe, bro, go get a mutual fund. You know what I'm saying? Go put that money in a savings account and catch little to no interest, because that's what you're doing, except for it's probably not just going to be immediately gone if something like this happens.
Yeah, I did feel bad. One of my friends on Facebook had a 34 leg parlay, all right, except for the last night's game.
That was very stupid of him.
Yeah.
I do not feel bad for your friend. I don't know who it is. You don't have to tell me. If he has a problem with me saying this, I mean, I'm not trying to fight you or anything, but come on, it's a 34 leg parlay. Like,
you should be happy that you got there.
You just be happy that you got here.
Yeah. All right. So the Bengals upset the Steelers. Man, the Steelers are hot trash.
Yeah.
And I called it very early on. They had a cupcake schedule, the likes of which we have not seen. And that's why I had 4 or 5 bets last night. Every single one of them had the Bengals winning that game. I mean, because I knew going into this, and I thought at first I thought they were long shots. But when we got home last night and I saw that they were up 17-0, I was like, yeah, that's about right. James Conner. When they said James Conner wasn't playing for a team that already can't run the ball, I knew that they were done. The tall, I remember early in the season, people were like, oh, Ben Roethlisberger, MVP. No, nowhere near.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I mean, he has some of the best receiving weapons in the whole league. And I mean, their offense looks stagnant. They look very poor.
And then even when their offense did in this third quarter, when their offense did start looking decent, their defense looks like Swiss cheese out there. Yeah, they were getting torched by the Bengals.
I needed all that. I needed Ben to have a bad game. I needed Deontay Johnson to have a bad game. And I needed the Steelers D to have a bad game.
I feel bad for anyone that was starting Ben Roethlisberger in playoffs.
I do not.
I think he went like 6-11 for 8 yards.
I had, that was the championship game or the semifinal game in the Blood, Sweat, and Beers Dynasty League. I mean, I was up 35 going into the night, but Nick only has Ben Roethlisberger playing. I mean, bro, 35 points for Ben Roethlisberger against the Bengals. That's not an impossible feat. That I can't.
There was a time he could have put up 350 yards and like 4 touchdowns. I mean,
it was very doable. So I was not super confident going into the night. I wasn't, tilting, thinking I was going to lose or anything. But yeah, I mean, those 3 players playing bad, the defense, Deontay Johnson and Ben Roethlisberger's how I won FanDuel, because I was destined to lose. I was only like 40 points up at the end of before Monday night game. So those 3 players should score you 40 points. No problem. So was crazy, man. What pretty crazy.
Florida football suspended 1 year from postseason, and Dan Mullen gets a show cause for recruitment violations. I would assume that this covers this year's bowl game, but with the NCAA, you never know. So they may just give them next year, and then Florida will pull some, we're going to voluntarily pull ourselves out, but only after we show that we have lost 5 games.
Yeah, it's a crazy year. I'm not even sure how you're getting away with any type of recruiting violations or whatever. Was it recruiting violations?
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check.
Looks like UT Knoxville also hit with some recruiting violations. That hurts you. I mean,
how are you going to get recruiting violations and win 3 games?
Well, at least make it worth it. It's for the future, buddy. You can't recruit seniors. Okay, get it together, Bobby. Come on, know about recruiting violations for God's sakes.
So Florida violated recruiting contact rules on 2 occasions in 2019. And Mullen was found to have failed to promote an atmosphere of compliance and will be banned from all off-campus recruiting activity during the fall 2020. And have given a 4-day off-campus recruiting ban during the fall 21 period. And the university has banned him from recruiting for the first 10 days of the January 2020 contact period. These just seem like such arbitrary rules, like punishment sometimes.
10 days, buddy. You got 10 days.
Like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, cool. I had a vacation planned for that anyway.
Like, I wasn't even going to be. They're like, shut up, Dan.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, but you can take those 10 days anytime you want. If you want to do like 5 weekends in a row.
Do you want to piecemeal this? And like when you're sleeping, we'll take 8 hours from each time you go to sleep?
Yeah.
How does that work for you, Dan? Yeah, it's very interesting, and there's never any consistency with what happens. How and it's like I love the show cause because he's already got a job. He's not fired. He's not like like we already hired him. We don't have to show you cause of why we hired him. Like he's already on our coaching staff. You know what? We're not going to show you cause. We're not going to hire this guy that's already hired.
As soon as that happened, the university also self-reported a level 3 violation and has also suspended itself for a year for misconduct in 2018. And it's going to coincide with the year of punishment will coincide with the NCAA punishment.
It's one of those concurrent. We're going to take these concurrently.
I like to think that every
time you get in trouble, just go ahead and tell everything. Yeah. You're like, well, 92. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know that it was such a huge deal for the cocaine and the hookers. Okay. Yeah. Rick Pitino got in trouble for that. We didn't know you could get in trouble for it. We would like to self-report. But only if we get to have the same punishment.
Yeah, and you can just skim over the part about force feeding players cocaine.
It was
the 90s.
It was 2015.
Yeah.
It's no biggie.
Yeah. I mean, it was like October of 2020. Okay, like it was a long time ago. Dwayne Haskins went to a strip club with no mask. No word yet on punishment, but he has apologized on Twitter. So
wow.
I mean,
this is a non-story, Bobby. I guess he thought, I'm Dwayne Haskins. Nobody knows who I am. It was really his hope.
It's not like I'm Alex Smith.
He went back. What we didn't know, he went to like an Ohio State strip club. They're like, we do know you here, buddy.
It was so much. He is so unrecognizable, even in name, even to me as a Washington player. 3 times I'm writing this, I wrote Deshaun Watson 3 times.
He's like showing you your ID. You're like, Dwayne Haskins, what a weird name. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's a fake ID, buddy. I know that name.
All right, it's time to move in to our main content. We're doing our best of 2020 sports edition. Next week, we'll just be doing our non-sports straight up best of 2020. Because you know what? 2020 was a shit year. But there's a couple good things, and we actually have a pretty decent list on here. We didn't,
It was good for 2020. Was pretty okay for sports. Yeah. I mean, in terms of
relatively speaking,
you're right. I mean, not going to sports, but like expanding people's sports horizons and them trying new things and doing new things. I mean,
at least we got to go to the Winter Classic.
We did get to go to Winter Classic. So I mean, forget everybody else. Thanks, Dallas.
We almost got to go to a game in Columbus.
We were right outside of the stadium of where we should have been.
Yeah.
We did go to our bar. So,
yeah. But anyway, so starting off the list, Pekka Rinne scoring a goal. Just January 9th, 2020, starting the year off with a great sport moment. A goalie goal is always amazing. What do you got one, or you got anything to say on that?
No, obviously that was awesome. I'm going to skip the next one on the list and let you do that one. So I'll do obviously Mahomes going and winning the Super Bowl earlier this year. And I think on the doc, you put it best. He goes from a future star to being a star in this league. Now, we did not know that would come with constant people wanting to rub all over him when we were watching his games. So that was a downside of him becoming awesome. But he seems like a really good guy, and happy for him to have won. Andy Reid winning that first highly eluded Super Bowl. So that was great. That was a great part of 2020.
Yeah. Listen, LSU winning the national championship. First off, it wasn't Alabama and it wasn't Clemson. So right there, a positive. But also LSU that year, I think people don't realize how good of a team they were that year.
Yeah, they were awesome.
They were 15-0. They looked good doing it. And I think that there will come a time when people will look back and they might be in one of the, like, maybe the top 15, top 20 college football teams of all time. They were a dominant team.
I don't think that top 15 is in any realm close enough. They're definitely top 15. That's no.
Okay, I thought you were going to say no. They're not nearly good enough for that. Yeah.
No. I think top 15 would be if like you're really, really trying to argue about it.
And I just did that because I didn't have time to really like look at this every single stat and kind of go through the other teams.
And that's more of what I'm saying. Even just off the top of the head, top 15 seems really high. You know, I mean,
do you think they're top 5 worthy?
That would take a little bit more research and kind of look at
especially with
things,
all multiple Alabama teams, Miami teams, Ohio State teams.
I don't think that would be out of the realm of possibility, though, for sure. I mean, there are some great football teams, and it's hard to compare different eras and what players and teams brought to the NCAA, like the 98 Volunteers were a really good football team.
I think the 01 Miami
teams, they were really good. I mean, as much as it pains me to say this,
Notre Dame team,
the 40. When you're talking top notch football and you're not talking 47 Dame, okay, that's when you're messing up. But I mean, some of those USC teams were just absolutely sick. Yeah. And then you got teams that were good football teams that were led by one of the greatest college football players we've ever seen, such as Texas's Vince Young. And I mean, that team was
Cam
good.
Newton with Auburn.
Cam Newton at Auburn. You have ridiculously great talent on these teams that are making their teammates much better and making their teams. And this is exactly
why I did top 15, because I know every time we do rankings like this and we say, oh, they're easily in it, then we start actually thinking about it and clicking and starting like, oh, wow, I've already named 20 teams that might honestly be a little bit better.
Yeah, honestly, though, I mean, again, all those teams that we talked about were great, and it would be hard to make an argument to say they were
Joe
better
Burrow
than
was
this LSU team.
Was a mega force.
Well, with tons of talent around him and guys that we're going to be watching play on Sunday for a long time coming, it was definitely hard to argue that point. And I think top 15 is a great hey, they're definitely in this zone. Yeah. The Last Dance, that was obviously, for those of you that don't know or don't remember, because 6 months was really 6 years ago. The telling of the story of Michael Jordan's last title, and just the way that was done, and what it brought to a story that people can't get enough of that particular story. And it's always so funny. Michael Jordan wanted full creative control on this, so he didn't come off as a jerk, and still kind of came off as a jerk. It's a very special talent, and I took that personally.
All right. Honestly, something that we didn't see happening, the remote NFL draft going off, honestly, without a hitch. It was very well put together, and a big surprise to many people that the NFL was able to do this. I thought for sure there was going to be an issue. I thought for sure there was going to be someone.
I thought we were going to see Roger Goodell's penis. If we're being honest, if there would have been odds on it, I would have said, dudes, we're going to see his penis probably. It really did go really well. And it was, I thought, more if you're just watching on TV, it was definitely more enjoyable than a normal draft.
Yeah. It was. The only thing was, it was weird, the whole, Roger Goodell's whole Mr. Rogers basement thing. That was a little odd.
But was it? No, it was odd. Yes.
Like, I kind of want to see the rest of that basement.
Just as a general statement, yes, that was odd. But was it odd for Roger Goodell, though? No. Again, I would not have been surprised if we saw the man's penis accidentally.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, on the other side of where the camera was, full on sex dungeon.
Maybe that, or Chris Hansen. Yeah. He comes out and he's like, all right, let's discuss these chat logs. NHL playoff bubble was flawlessly executed.
Yeah.
I mean, and just to kind of add to that, the NBA playoff bubble was great. I mean, we had the one instance of Lou Williams wanting to get wings in a strip club. I mean, but it happens.
Who can blame him?
It happens, okay? Yeah. This was early pandemic. He had no idea that he could live without those wings.
Dwayne Haskins doesn't get to use that excuse.
He also is terrible. So not that Lou Williams is the and I don't even remember if it was Lou Williams. It sounds right. Sounds right. Sorry if we're bashing on you, Lou, and it wasn't you. So the playoff bubbles, they were so well done, and we actually got to see a champion crowned.
It was Lou
in
Williams.
Both leagues.
I typed in NBA strip club wings, and I didn't know what my Google search was going to bring up.
That was a bold call, but it was Lou Williams.
Yes.
I'm not just bashing on Lou for no reason.
And I also didn't realize that when people, because apparently the internet didn't care much about whether or not he should have gone. It was more the internet cared, were the wings actually worth it?
Were they worth it?
And Johnny Manziel confirmed the wings are at that strip club are worth it.
Okay. Well, again, not a valued opinion that I would put high on my scale.
Strip club wings, I am valuing Johnny Manziel. Yeah. I feel like Johnny Manziel to strip club chicken wings is like Tony Romo to commentating.
But I feel like the type of people that are real jazzed up on strip club hot wings are not the type of people in which you take their opinion on things.
Well, you take my opinion on some things, and the wings of the Booby Bungalow.
Yeah, I would not take those
amazing.
opinion. I would not. I don't accept that opinion. And pretty much every opinion you've ever had past that one, Bobby, is scrutinized very, very specifically. You know, like that was a good idea by Bobby. And then I think back, I was like, the man is touting the wings at a strip club. So just look at it a little more analytically. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes I'm like, all right, no, the strip club wings got me.
All right. Sarah Fuller, Vanderbilt kicker, first female to kick off at a Power 5 conference, first female to score points in a college game.
I think it was Power 5. Yeah,
okay.
Power 5 as well.
Great story. Great to see the
highlight of Vanderbilt's season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Loved the fact that it angered so many neckbeards online.
That's always real nice.
And anytime you get to see Clay Travis super pissed off and he just puts his foot in his mouth is amazing.
Yeah, which is pretty much always. So
yeah,
man. Clay Travis, I used to really enjoy him when he was on 3HL here in Nashville. The man just going national just got to that. Dude, he's not as cool as he thinks he is. You know,
I've never listened to him actually. I've never actually had the opportunity to listen to him make a sports take because my first, I guess not interaction, but the first time seeing any of his takes, it was like 4 things he said were all political, and I immediately blocked him on any social media because his takes on and then I saw a couple of his takes for sports and it's like these are garbage takes.
Yeah, and I mean you can have crazy sports takes, but just the way he goes about it's just so
like, for example,
treating people like they're stupid because they don't agree.
Jared Stillman has bad sports takes, but I respect him as a journalist.
Yeah, I just don't like what he has to say. There's a difference.
With Clay Travis, I don't respect the guy as a journalist because I don't think he is respectful to his listeners.
Yeah.
But you want to take this one?
Yeah. Washington football team changed their team name to Washington football team.
Yeah. And it's about time. As a lifelong fan, it's about time. And anyone who says, oh, I'm a fan and I cared about it. And it's like, no, dude, like you shouldn't care about, you're not connected to the name of the team. Yeah. You're connected to the team.
Tell that to the guy's chest tat.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, and again, we talked about this when it kind of all happened. You're watching guys try to carry a ball past a line. That's what you're doing when you're watching football on a Sunday, dude. It ultimately doesn't matter what you call those guys. So yeah, I mean, you know, if it's a ridiculous that one in particular. You know, there's been lots of name changes, but that one specifically, that was a much needed.
Baker Mayfield coming into his own.
Jury's still out on this one, I'd like to say.
I think he's had a great year. And I think that,
sure.
You know, when he came into this league, everyone thought that he was going to be another Johnny Manziel, which frankly, I thought was very disrespectful to Baker Mayfield. He was never
disrespectful to Johnny Manziel.
Baker Mayfield was never really like, I mean, he had fun, but he was never really the partier that Johnny Manziel was.
Sure.
So for him to come out and people to say, oh, it's just like Johnny Manziel. No, it's not. Because you know what? Johnny Manziel does
because they were both 6 foot, bro. That was it. That was the only compare. They're scrappy. That's like a white guy in basketball. He's really scrappy. He's sneakily athletic. No, but Baker Mayfield, while having a great year on the field, we all know the highlight of this man's year has been the dope commercials, dude. I love the one where he's going. He has to go back in. Oh, I think I turned
scanner.
Yeah. And they're like, he's like, hey guys, it's me, Baker. He's like, whatever, Garrett, come on through.
I like the one where the bathroom one where he's calling, making like reservations.
That one was last year's, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was still one of my favorite ones. It's like, it's a third one on the left.
Yeah. The book club one is really good too. There's a couple of really good ones. So as good of a football year as he's having, those commercials are top notch.
And honestly, one thing I do really love about the way Baker Mayfield plays is the fact that no matter how long he'll throw an 80-yard touchdown pass, he'll be the first player there to hug the guy.
Oh yeah.
Like if I'm a coach, I'm like, dude, stop doing these wind sprints.
Chill.
Like he's got oxygen before the receiver does.
Yeah, he's like Olivia Benson on the recent episodes of SVU. She's just always out of breath. Like, I was just very confused by this. They must have got an elevator at the precinct, and now she just doesn't walk this. She'll come up to the crime scene and what do we got here? I'm sorry. Hold on. It's amazing to me. But yeah, that's so that's a really good part of the year for sure. Austin Watson being traded, that's just more of a personal,
for me, and there's for many.
I was not opposed to him getting traded for sure. I mean, he was supposed to be our enforcer. He lost a lot of fights to enforce.
Honestly, I think at least within the past, because I
think I still have one video on my phone where he did win off a slip. You get the call, you get the win when they slip, bro.
I'll give him that, but I don't think that was. I think the research I did was in the last 2 seasons, and within the last 2 seasons, before he got traded, not one win. And it's you can't do that as an enforcer, especially when you aren't great as a player. Yeah. You at least need to be close at winning. The problem is he would always get his ass kicked.
Yeah. It's like, bro, straight up, I'll fight you. No problem.
Yeah.
Breakup of Belichick and Brady. I mean, obviously for some folks that wasn't great. I would like to add to the fact that the Titans didn't get Tom Brady. Thank goodness. Kind of get we don't really have a fair shake of things of who's going to really come out on top of this, but Brady's looking good right now.
I mean, I think the mere fact that just from first look, because it's not like they're using they're using Cam Newton. The Patriots have Cam Newton, a solid quarterback.
Yeah, but a guy coming off of injuries, learning a new, very complicated offense, a lot of opt-outs this year due to COVID. Yeah. I mean, if I'm not counting out Bill Belichick. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
I don't think the Patriots are as bad as their record says right now. I think, when they get another full off season to work with him, and it's Belichick, but
if they bring him back.
Yeah. I will say though that seeing Tom Brady, I love the fact that he broke the Falcons once again this weekend with a big comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in Matt Ryan's head. Matt Ryan has nightmares about Tom Brady, probably.
Yeah.
And now he has nightmares about 2 different teams.
Or probably what happens is he just goes home and lays on his bed of cash and isn't worried about it at the end of the night. Maybe he is, but he's probably all right.
I don't know, man. Not winning a Super Bowl. I mean, I've heard many athletes say that
his nickname is Matty Ice. Yeah. So you're good, bro. Nobody's discounting you. But that's not a Super Bowl nickname, bro. That was not, that's not a Super Bowl winning nickname. You should have got a better nickname in college.
I guess Tom Brady gets ice pick now.
Maybe so. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what he did to them. So,
iRacing. I don't know. The only thing I know about iRacing is when the guy said the slur on live.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was that, except for just not that, and everybody was racing their cars. Yeah, I mean, it was just it was basically like regular NASCAR races and lots of awesome wrecks. Nobody died either, So there was the one guy that was about to win the race, and his daughter unplugged his TV. So that's awesome. That's that's a little bit of different things that can happen when you're racing at the house. So, But that was just a cool thing for NASCAR because that was really the first kind of anything that we got.
Well,
back.
What would be cool is if they did iRacing, but the cars that they were driving were actually on a racetrack somewhere without drivers in it. That way, but you don't tell the drivers that.
This is like an Ender's Game type
so
of
they
deal,
think,
bro.
or you don't tell them that there's actually people in there who don't get to control the car. So the drivers are just, they're like, ah!
This sounds like a nice social experiment that we should most certainly not do. But yeah, to kind of close out our awesome 2020, and I'm sure that there's tons of other things that other people enjoyed and liked, but this is not their podcast, so they didn't get to add them in. Masters in the fall, that was really awesome. I thought it was cool. It was definitely different than seeing it early April like we do every year. Some big events, just to kind of tail that. Some big events that we're bred in seeing in specific dates and times have to change up and move their race or their event. So that was kind of cool to get a change up of something that we normally wouldn't get.
Finding the silver linings, always great. We'll do it again next week to end the year. But now it's time to move on to Joke of the Week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the Joke of the Week.
All right, you found this one, so you get to do the honors.
So Brazil's Bolsonaro, their president, warns that vaccine can turn people into crocodiles.
About time.
And I haven't really got into the article at all. We usually kind of parse it together. I can't tell if he's pro or anti-vaccine, because if you're anti-vaccine, that is not the way to get people to not take it. That sounds awesome.
That sounds like super soldiers.
That sounds like, bro, you mean I can stop going to work every day, just live for hundreds of years, dude, just being one of the most prehistoric, like from the dinosaur times type of deal, just chill up in a lake or, I guess a river or wherever, the natural habitat of the crocodile, and just eat shit.
Sounds dope.
Sign me up. So either I don't get COVID or I get to be a crocodile is my two options, and they both sound great right now.
I don't know if you explain a crocodile or just everyone that lives in New Orleans, but either way.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, at this point. But yeah, I guess it's an attack. So he thinks that it's a bad thing.
Well, because he also said, you could also turn into a bearded lady. Two very different things.
He is a big subscriber to evolution. I'm a bearded man. Do I become a non-bearded lady? What is the science here? How do I make sure that I get the
hybrid crocodile bearded lady?
How do I make sure that I get the crocodile version? Yeah. Because I want that. That sounds great. He insisted he's not going to be vaccinated, just claiming that it's a little flu. And so he's launching a nice mass inoculation program. I guess he is pro alligator as constituency, but as a president, you can't be an alligator.
Yeah,
that's the problem, and that's why he's against it.
He also said you become a superhuman.
Okay, this guy is
all over the board.
All over the board, and absolutely terrible at scaring people off of things. So my options are a bearded lady, which obviously you're never going to run out of work as being a bearded lady. Yeah. That's a pretty strong job market. A crocodile or a superhuman. And these are the negatives.
Yeah. Or he also said, or just a male with an effeminate voice. So it's
so he's like, all right, so you're gonna talk.
It's like he had a checklist. He's like, wait, the crowd isn't gasping yet. Superhuman. Yeah. Wait, don't clap. You could
be scared. Be scared.
You could have a slightly higher pitched voice. Oh no.
It's like, man, but the crocodile thing's still on the table.
But the Supreme Court has Brazil's Supreme Court has ruled that it is obligatory to get the vaccine.
So we're going to have a potential problem. Joe Biden better look out. Brazil could be a problem in a few years if they're just all crocodiles.
Yeah.
And like they're superhumans, they're crocodiles. They got a few bearded ladies to kind of throw you off track. And then they got men with effeminate voices who are now mad that they have effeminate voices, are probably going to ride the crocodiles.
What I would do, I don't know how Brazil is with like satire there.
Probably not great, Bob.
If I'm like a local news station, I'm like it. Like when the thing comes, it's like, oh, all of our people have been vaccinated. Have all the men take like some helium, and that's just how you. We're giving him ideas. He's like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Right, write this down. Write this down. Yeah. I'm sure that the Brazilian president listens to the pod. Now, he may hear through the grapevine about this little segment. And I don't know, his reach. Do Brazilians have hit squads? I mean, we're gonna see and hear them coming. It's a bearded lady, a guy, a guy with a really, really high voice, a crocodile, and what looks like Superman. So, I mean, we're gonna see this coming, but hopefully he doesn't come after us. I mean, we've talked a lot of crap on here, but going at Brazil's president, that's tough. I mean, I guess I've gone at North Korea quite a bit too.
And China,
yeah. America.
We've gone at just about everyone.
Yeah, we
I think the only place we haven't gone after is Australia.
Well, that's because our boy Keith is down there, keeping it all strong for us down there in the Queensland.
I think we've even gone after like Brussels.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if we have, but Brussels, watch out, bro. If you do something stupid and I see it come across my news feed, you might get joke of the week. And I'm not opposed to that. I'll joke of the week anybody if they deserve it.
Yeah. All right, time moving into our pop culture segment. We are continuing our Pirates of the Caribbean discussion. We're on to Stranger Tides. It was the first one without Orlando Bloom. It was
the arms of an angel.
It was.
He's not dead, everybody.
Oh man. So it wasn't great.
No, I agree. It had its moments, and I'm not a huge Penelope Cruz guy. She looked pretty good in the movie. I mean, I guess you dress anybody up like a pirate, you looking pretty good. I mean, but she was no Keira Knightley. I mean, there is no comparison for me. My boy Ian McShane
killed it.
Awesome, as always. And I just keep seeing Al Swearingen, dude. Just, just calling someone,
See, I recognize him most from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
So that's where I know him from. So that's all I was seeing the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, it was okay. Premise wise, not nearly as cool as the previous three. Barbossa, not nearly as fun in this one. I mean, it was just like the mermaid thing was kind of stupid to me. And, I may have dropped the ball a little bit on really paying attention and watching it as well.
I was
but
on
that's
my phone
really
most of the time.
That's not our fault though. That's their fault.
Yeah.
So
I think the next one might be worse, to be honest. I don't know.
You think so? I haven't seen it, but that one is on Disney Plus. So we will, not for this next episode, obviously, but for the following episode, I guess we'll finish off doing Pirates, and then I
guess the first episode of the year we'll finish that off, and then we'll find another series. I think then after that we'll just do our Mando discussion.
Technically, the first episode of the year will be this next episode.
I think that comes out before, maybe? I thought it comes out before the first of the year.
Maybe it does.
It comes out on the 31st. So technically,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is before the next year.
All right. So, So what was there any scenes from the movie that you really liked?
I did like when Jack Sparrow was fighting Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just Penelope Cruz, they were just fighting. The escape from the the King. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that because we've seen so much of it, every time he did something, you're like, oh, he's going to use that later.
Yeah.
Like he throws the napkin down. Now, a part of me thought maybe he's going to like screw himself by like slipping on his own napkin.
Right.
But then, yeah, you're watching it, I'm like, all right, this is good. This is good Pirates. That's what Pirates of the Caribbean should be. Yeah. This kind of shenanigans. I want to see pirate shenanigans.
I did enjoy that same scene when they come in and they introduce the King and like give all his titles and stuff. He's like, no, doesn't ring a bell. So but there was not a whole lot that stood out.
I was very confused immediately after that scene we were just talking about when they are chasing him down. They clearly show that on foot they're faster than most carriages. This carriage that Johnny Depp was on was going about the same speed of those other carriages.
They had the COVID-19 vaccine. They're all superhumans.
Yeah. And so, but like they're not catching up to his. And then he's just jumping on them going like this, like back and forth.
I was not sure why the jump either.
Yeah.
He's like a trickery. Like,
yeah. And they're like, we clearly see you and you're coming back our way now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was not too privy of why that was happening. So not the worst. I mean, obviously, it has been the worst of the Pirates, but it wasn't the worst movie of all time. It was no Matrix 2.
Very, very true.
I'm sorry. Matrix 1 or 3.
Yeah.
Especially not 3. That's not even comparable to anything.
That was a garbage movie.
I'm mad even talking about it again.
All right. So that about wraps up Pirates. I think next week we might be, I don't think we have a pop culture for next week.
No pop culture next week.
Yeah. So let's move into what are you binging? I got back into Good Place. I left off about halfway through season 1, and the last time we talked about it, spoilers by the way, I kind of mentioned, are they actually in the bad place?
Yeah. And
then I see the season finale, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, like I didn't see how they were going to get there. I didn't realize that it'd be like, oh, it was a mind game. But yeah, I kind of called that from the get-go. But overall, I mean, it's a good show. I still enjoyed it. There was a bit when they started, when he like snaps, I'm like, wait, don't do a whole nother season of the same thing, but slightly different. I kind of like how they did it, like a very quick, like, all right, here's all 100 or 800 something attempts at doing it. Yeah, but I mean, Ted Danson kills it.
Yeah, Ted Danson. I mean, and if you just finished season 1 was great. Don't get me wrong, but it's a good show that kind of keeps you wanting more the whole time. So it's one of those shows that when I got to the season finale, when like you finish a book and it's just like with you, like the book's over and it's done and it's gone. It was a lot like that. Yeah. It was a weird feeling. So for mine, I have a food and a drink. I don't have a show because I've just been watching sports and we talk sports all day. Fadley's Crab Cakes. Shout out to Paula. Yeah. That was amazing. Got to share them with my folks. And Jameson Black Barrel, bro. I know I had it on there last week, but you got me that bottle and it's just a good whiskey, man. I really enjoy it. So appreciate that again.
Yeah, I think I might try some for session 1 of our D&D since, I probably won't have to drive after that.
Right.
So
okay, yeah, absolutely. If there's still any left, yeah, absolutely.
Might have to bring a bottle then.
Yeah, I'll grab one if I am out. So,
some Maduro Brown Ale. Last week when I bought our beer for the show, they had 1 6-pack of that left, and that was the beer we had at my bachelor party. One of my favorite beers. Such a good beer. Drank it while we, me and my wife and the in-laws, we had a lobster night, and so I drank some of that night, and it was pretty good. I mean, I love that beer, man.
Yeah, you are talking about it. I think I had it a couple of times. It's more just not as
it's a pretty dark, heavy beer. Yeah. But all right, so let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, this one, I don't know if you're going to be with me or not on it. Sports, especially football, should not have completely different rules just because it's within the last 2 minutes. And I'm specifically talking about one that I found, like, I understand why you have to have this rule if it's done intentionally. I believe it was the Chargers game last week. Apparently in the last 2 minutes, if you fumble a ball, the person who fumbled it has to be the one who picks it up if it's within the last 2 minutes of play. Now, I understand.
To advance it.
Yes. Now, I understand the reasoning for it. You don't want someone like a bowling ball throwing the ball forward, to get a win. That's fine. I get that. But this was clearly an incidental fumble. Now, we have proven refs can use critical thinking skills and look at whether or not something was intentional. They do it when they call personal fouls, when they have to kick someone out of a game. So they're able to determine that. They should be able to use that same determination when it comes to this kind of thing. But overall, if NFL teams want to win the entire game. So if you're going to have that rule, have it be for the entire game, not just the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand I kind of understand the no coaches challenge after 2 minutes. Not really. I think that's dumb. Just allow, if coaches have a challenge remaining, let them have it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the whole, it's the last 2 minutes of the game. So different set of rules now.
Yeah, it is intriguing. And sometimes where the 10-second runoff can be taken advantage of. And, there's a lot of different weird things that they could do better. I'm in agreement. If you can fumble the ball and your guy gets it and they can score, I don't even understand why intentionality is the problem.
Yeah,
here.
And that's a discussion for another time. I personally have, I understand why they're doing it, but I personally, it's part of the game. If you want to take the risk and use the ball like a bowling ball, that's a very high risk maneuver.
Sure. Yeah. It's
if anything, it's going to make the game more entertaining.
Right. I don't necessarily understand why if I could do it in the beginning of the game, why can't I do it at the end?
Yeah.
That's a totally fair point. That something that I hadn't even really thought about it being in the last 2 minutes as a different rule. But yeah, even with what you're talking about, you don't want it to happen intentionally. Why not? Why wouldn't you want it to happen intentionally if it can happen? So yeah, that's a good call. Muppets football night. What the hell was that last night?
I'll be honest, I was flipping back and forth. I only saw the very end.
It was like a whole lot to do with it. It was not.
I thought it was just like a silly thing. I didn't realize it was the whole game.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was very, very strange. I was not a fan of it. I don't hate the Muppets or anything, but stick to what and Muppeting and stuff Treasure Island and whatever, I don't know, just do Muppet stuff. Keep your Muppet paws off my football. Okay. That's all I got to say about it.
Get your paws off me, you damn dirty Muppet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I felt like an old man. He was like, stay off my football, buddy. Yeah. So that was something that annoyed me.
All right, so for non-sports, this one hits a little personal. I'm in the retail business, and listen, guys, this time of year, without COVID and without crazy weather, it's a crazy time for people who are mailing stuff. Don't be rude to retail workers, especially when it's something out of their control. We are getting about 500 to 800 emails a day right now. The majority of them are people bitching at us that they don't have their mail yet. Now, many of them, they have their tracking number, and they see that it's been shipped, and it's being tracked, and it's in maybe their town's local post office. But yet they bitch at us at how we are the ones ruining their Christmas. Hey, what do you
ruined their Christmas, buddy? I'm with them. Okay, mostly because I hate you. No, I'm with you, man. It's just, you think that guy is look, you do realize that I also don't double as the USPS postal service worker, right? I'm not shipping this to you myself.
Yeah. One of the best ones was right now, there was a massive snowstorm in the Northeast recently. I believe in a week they got 90 inches of snow in 1 week.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So pretty much that's why it's there. It's in Nashua or something like that, very close to where this person is in New England. And It's very clearly says on USPS it's delayed because of snow, and she bitches at us like, well, I'm in New England and we know how to deal with snow, so that's no reason why it should be late.
Then don't talk to me. Then don't call the postal manager.
Like, how would you like us to drive from Tennessee there and get it ourselves? Like,
didn't you ruin someone's son's Christmas?
Oh,
by them not getting their cheese kit?
Every year we ruin somebody's Christmas.
Their son's a nerd, dude. It's like, oh, I'm not getting the cheese kit, mommy, and you're like, yeah, shut up, nerd, and you slap him across the face. You're like, I'm the anti Santa Claus.
We actually packed like a compressed boxing glove in there and boom, right in the mouth,
right in the kisser. It's now I get to make my cheese, mommy. I don't know how this little kid's British, but that's the only kid that I could see being upset about the not getting and it's even worse if you're talking about your grown son. I don't know which is worse, that you're buying a young kid a cheese making kit, or your grown son is having Christmas ruined. Yeah.
And
for
then you're
no
bitching
other
about
reason, right? That he's not even the one bitching to me.
Yeah,
it's like, you've ruined my Christmas. So I actually I thought of one real late in the game. I don't know if you've seen it, but that Farm Bureau commercial where the dad, they're sitting at the counter. Obviously a pre-COVID commercial.
Yeah, he leaves the big tip.
He leaves the big tip after he hears her talking about, which is obviously extremely unprofessional of her to be talking to her customers about all the problems in her life. I'm sure it's small town and they all know each other and stuff. But you're talking really loud, lady. Yeah. Okay. And anyway, she's, the cars broke down, all this stuff. So
she doesn't even work there. She's just a panhandler.
She's just behind the counter stealing pie. And so he leaves the big $100 tip, and the kid's like, Dad. He's like, why? What are you doing? You're not going to get your change? And he's like, we'll talk about it outside. And then he takes him outside, and all he says to the kid is, I'll get it back. With no explanation whatsoever. Like, we all know what you mean, like pay it forward and all this. This is a little kid that's trying to learn about life, and he's just going to go places and just be giving people $100 with no inkling of why. He's like saying to people, I'll get it back. Like he's like, he's going to do this with his bookie.
It could be that the Farm Bureau guy is in the mob, and when he says he's going to get it back, he's fronting them because he's going to get the VIG back.
That's the VIG.
Now he's got to go and break her legs.
Honestly, with the way that he cryptoed out of that discussion with his child, that's the only two options. He's mobbed up. He's connected.
I'm pretty sure I seen that same discussion on The Sopranos.
He's connected. Or he just hates his kid and doesn't want his. Hey, Bobby, did you ruin his kid's Christmas? He's not getting his cheese making kit, I think. It's like, I'll get it back. Well, yeah, what about that cheese making kit, Dad? Like, shut up, Timmy. Whap. He never explains it. I'm very distressed about this. So. Yeah.
Those are all weird commercials. Like the one where the daughter's asking the dad a bunch of questions and he's like leaning back, telling him all the answers.
Yeah. Why
are you creeping so hard?
Very, very bad parenting that happens in the small town of Farm Bureau.
That guy as a dad should, listen, I get parents don't have all the answers, but let him kind of figure out some of them.
Hey bro, chill out.
Dude, you're not even giving me, she asked a simple question. I got this.
Tell her she'll get it back. That's where I got my insurance. I love Farm Bureau.
They do my insurance as well.
They've never given me any problem.
They do my car and home. Yeah,
dope hats. They got a lot going for them. Those commercials, though. Yeah. I'm like, oh, should I switch my car insurance? Well, it's going to be more expensive, but I don't have to put claim to those commercials anymore.
Hell, we saved $15 by not going to Geico.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just very sad for this poor kid that's not getting life explained to him.
I would like to see a skit of that where the guy's giving the dad who's asking completely wrong info.
Yeah.
Just the worst advice ever.
Yeah. I mean, he might as well have anyway, because if you're just willy-nilly listening to strangers at a restaurant booth.
And how does the daughter that dumb to not see what's happening?
Again, they all speak very, very loudly in the small universe of Farm Bureau man. They speak very loudly.
Oh, I heard it was just bought by Disney and it's coming to the MCU.
Finally, let's get some continuity within these commercials.
That and the AT&T coming together for a combined universe.
We gotta. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The AT&T. they've been hitting lately. They've been doing okay with their merch.
We say that as a joke. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that AT&T's parent company also owns Farm Bureau's parent company.
This is not a drill, Bobby.
Yeah.
It's
just Jeff Bezos.
There is a large chance that is the case. I mean, there's like 7 companies in this entire country that just own every other country. Country.
Maybe.
Well, that was misspoke. I misspoke, but probably correct. That's correct. I'm going to stick with it. They own every country.
All right, guys. We hope everyone has a happy holiday and be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.